The building that once housed the Green Bay Press-Gazette is one step closer to becoming the new police headquarters.
The city's finance committee approving the recommendation at a meeting Tuesday. Kristen Allen live in Green Bay this morning. Kristen, what's the next step in this process?
Tammy, the Common Council will now consider the recommendation to turn the old Press-Gazette building here behind me into the new police headquarters at its meeting next Tuesday. The Finance Committee unanimously approved the recommendation at its meeting yesterday. The current Green Bay Police Department is on South Adams Street and has faced deferred maintenance for several years. That's according to the mayor. If the purchase is approved, the police department's square footage would nearly double in the historic Walnut Street location. Genrich says the building fits the city's goal of providing the police department with the upgraded home it deserves under a fiscally responsible plan.
We're at the early stages of figuring out, what the strengths and weaknesses of this building are, and so we're going to go through that process, make sure that it's a good fit for us, and then ultimately go to our Common Council again and to the public and kind of make the case for a much more substantial investment.
And Green Bay's police chief says the location here behind me, the former Press-Gazette building, would provide a more welcoming space to the community than the current location. Reporting live in Green Bay, Kristen Allen, Action 2 News.